Hello and welcome back to another week of living on the road in Australia. This week I'm super excited as we prepare to leave Victoria and cross into South Australia, a state where neither Rowan and I have set foot before. But before we do, come and enjoy a little bit of free camping, sit by the Murray River, and go through some of the logistics of crossing state borders in Australia. I have no idea what's going on. I can't see anything. That siren is so loud, so should we be doing something? It's a very air raid sounding kind of horn. So possible zombie apocalypse. Or maybe there's like a bushfire around. That's the more genuine concern. It's a pretty hot day. We are near the river, at least. It's maybe safe here. Oh, it's stopping. You can hear some fire engine sirens in the distance, so I can only assume that's what's going on. But my God, that was intense, hey? That was like a lot. Weather incidents is probably like my primary worry on the road, when living on the road. Like I am constantly on alert for weather warnings. There's a heat wave this week and we're trying to find a place where we can stay cool, but it's a little bit hard because it's covering almost all of Victoria. And when there are high winds, I get really nervous because you're trying to find a place to camp and you don't want to be under a tree, and then high winds and heat, it's just a recipe for disaster in Australia. And I think that's clearly what's happened. There's a fire a little bit to the north of us and a little bit to the south. And I'm pretty sure that's what those sirens were about. It was a call to action for all of the fireys around here to get on it. Yeah, man, so weird. That's weird. That really got me on edge. Every camp we've stayed in for at least the past 2 weeks have been absolutely full of these noisy little corellas. And I know some find them to be quite annoying. And with the 5 a.m. wake-up call, I guess I get it. But I also find them to be curiously entertaining. This is what a superior free camp bathroom looks like. Check out this shower room. It's huge. And I reckon, there's something going on with this decor. I mean, look at those tiles. So cute. And there's also vintage slate on the floor. Pretty cool. When living on the road, there is something to be said for a clean and well-maintained public bathroom. It might seem odd to get excited over a public bathroom, but trust me when I say that the good ones are rare enough, you'll want to celebrate. Like with a lot of things, living on the road teaches you to appreciate the little wins in life. Feeling fresh, we set off to Mildura, where we spent the day exploring, buying up some wonderful local produce, and reconnecting with a bit of Rowan's family history. Well, we are currently sitting by the Murray River, which is a major river in Australia that we just learned is 2,500 kilometres long. We are in Mildura at the moment, and you know what? I rate it. I like Mildura. It gives a good vibe. Ooh, except for the flies. But we're in a pretty special spot right now. And it's not because we're sitting next to the freeway.
Mildura is a special place. I've been excited about visiting Mildura for a very long time. Not just the biggest growers of table grapes that we just learned.
Yeah, table grapes.
And almonds, but also where my family comes from, my dad's side in particular.
We've previously walked you through Julia Creek, which holds a special place in Rowan's family heritage on his mum's side. And also Palamalawar, which is where my own family lineage comes from on my mother's side.
So
now
we're done with the mums and we're on to the dads.
I actually think that I missed the Smith lineage, unfortunately.
We'll go back.
We'll go back.
We'll finish the trip with it. We've just started exploring Mildura. We just got here today, and we're starting to look for some of the cool places around where basically my nana grew up when she was just a child, and then just before she left after getting married. And so some fun facts. I had a great grandfather who basically ran a little store right where we are now. You would have absolutely no idea because there is no indication that there were any stores here at all. But what I'm really excited by is he was actually a very avid, he was very good with his hand, and he built 2 houseboats. And if you don't know, the Murray River has plenty of houseboats. So we're going to go check out some of the sites where they basically lived.
I mean, how cool is that? The thought of living on a houseboat on the Murray River in Mildura. I think that's awesome. And not only just like a houseboat, but a houseboat that you built. I think maybe, is that the next dream? No? Yeah? No?
Maybe. Trading Billy for a little houseboat.
Van life to houseboat life? We'll see.
So I'm very excited. This was a place that my nana spoke so much to me about while I was growing up. And so to actually be here and get to check it out is very, very cool. As I said before, we're keen to go check out basically where she lived in a houseboat, where they built a house and lived for a few years. We're going to go find that if it still exists, and just go exploring and check out what the town has. Lots and lots of fresh fruit is grown here, which we're very excited by. And
an ant is biting me on my bum.
An ant is biting Jessie on her bum.
I was trying to hold that composure together so you could finish your sentence. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been here for only a few hours, but I really like Mildura. You can tell that there is a strong growers community. There's a lot of farm gate stores as you drive into town. And we found great Victorian coffee, not Victorian, like Melbourneite coffee. And there's a lot of really cool, unique restaurants around. So we might go and check that out later. Getting bitten by another ant. Well, let's take a walk down the river and see if we can find the part that your grandmother lived on.
Yeah.
I think they were green ants. They're really stinging. All right. Okay. Do we think this is the spot?
I think this is the spot. In the early 1950s, this is where my dad's side of the family used to live with my nana and great-grandparents. And so what actually happened is that they had been living in their second houseboat that my great-grandfather had built. They were living somewhere around here when unexpectedly the lock opened.
Let's have a look at the lock right there.
Which resulted in a bunch of the water just flooding out and their houseboat falling down onto a tree branch and breaking. And that's the story of how their houseboat apparently broke. So my dad would tell me that he used to come here actually when he was a kid and still be able to see the skeleton of it in the water. Wow. Which obviously we can't see anymore, but probably definitely disintegrated. But that's very, very cool. It's very cool to be here to check it out.
Yeah, wow. What a shame though, to lose something that you'd put so much hard work into.
Also, what happened to those carpentry skills? Why didn't they come through to me?
Yeah.
Where are my houseboats?
We just found the lock gate. Hand operated. That's so cool.
Whose boat can re-wreck?
They've upgraded their tech since then, I believe. These guys look after it. There's such a difference. Water level down there. That's much higher in here. I can understand now, seeing that, how opening this gate would have led to all of the water flowing out that way.
By the way, if I've gotten anything wrong in this video, please jump down and check for my dad's comment, because he's definitely fact-checked me somewhere. I love you, Dad.
This morning we're here in the small town of Werribee, where we have taken advantage of a free cold bush shower and a very lovely clean toilet. We're about to drive on to cross the border between Victoria and South Australia today. It's approximately half an hour away, and South Australia, the time zone, is also half an hour behind Victoria. So even though it's going to take us half an hour to drive there, it'll actually take us no time at all. Feeling fresh once again, we hit the road with South Australia in our sights, only to realise that we had forgotten about something terribly important. So we are absolute idiots. I should have known this, and I feel like in the back of my head I kind of did. We have just crossed the border into South Australia, and then there were these huge quarantine signs saying we cannot take any fresh fruit or vegetables into South Australia. And guess what we did yesterday? We went shopping. We went to this beautiful fruit shed in Mildura that had all of this local produce, and we have a full fridge. So now we're on the side of the road next to the quarantine bins and have to try and cook as much as we can to save that food, and then unfortunately get rid of what we can't. This is so annoying. Whoops. Look how sad this is. Oh no. Oh man. Oh, how beautiful heirloom carrots. Okay, we're gonna do our best with this. Whoops. Word to the wise, you are going to need to make sure you don't have your fresh food on you anytime you travel interstate that's not Queensland, New South Wales or Victoria. So we found that there are these specific lists that tell you what you can and can't bring in. So thankfully a few of the stuff we have on here is acceptable, but still have to do a little bit of cooking. It's not as bad as we thought. Is there anything about carrots on here? Vegetables, root, carrot, yes. Okay. Free of soil on tops, have to remove the tops. Some very specific rules apparently. But anyway, it's close to lunchtime, so. The other thing is that we have no petrol, we're on reserve, so we're hoping to make it to a town soon. We've more or less deduced that it's things with seeds that are a problem, so we had to make sure that we cooked up all of our tomatoes, capsicum, chilies, that kind of stuff, and then obviously all fruits. And I had just bought a beautiful orange, and I never buy oranges, so today we are going to be having some lovely pasta sauce. That came out really nice, I reckon. And a side of orange juice. So cheers. Forgot I also bought a plum yesterday. So I'm not hungry, but we did it. We passed with flying colours. We're all good and in South Australia now. And just after the quarantine checkpoint was a petrol station. So we are solving all of our problems at once. Thank you for joining us on this week's journey. I hope to see you next week as we detour inland, touch the outback and explore one of Australia's most breathtaking national parks, the Flinders Ranges. If you're so compelled, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week out on the road.